Hello, hello, hello. It is me once again, and I would like to get on with this topic of marshalling. And I want to start out where I am essentially, which is I've forgotten, pretty much what we were doing, and I don't want to be overly prepared. I'd like to do this with as little preparation as possible. Uh, because I'm curious to see um, how easy this thing is to use once you've forgotten how it works. Now, what I would like to do first is build all of the libs that I have that have to do with device and common, and I might as well include window. All of the common libs. Just build them all. One easy way to do that is to make common depend on everything, and other things like this dev manager just depends on common, and this utest similarly on common, and that will cause everything to get built. I could add, for instance, notepad cubed or some other utility. Let's say this one, my famous create hardware utility. Who knows if it builds? But if I do a clean solution, I'm currently in, darn it, excuse me. The ashless cigarette. If somebody could come up with that idea and implement it, that'd be great. But nobody cares about us smokers. See, I'm in debug Unicode. Now, what's all this stuff going here for? Okay, there are no output directories. So now this stuff should just build. All the libs necessary should be included. Now, why is window? Well, it doesn't matter actually the order that the libs are built in, as long as the final product, which is like utest or this, gets built last, because that's when the link occurs. Static libs are not linked. That's the idea. And then after all of the libs are built, I think I'd like to just include in my workspace whatever I want. I might need to refer to common and maybe dev manager, I guess. Right, now while that's building, let me just show you my organization here. I added a new unit test folder here for devices. So these are any kind of console program. Could be one of these. This would be for testing a DLL that one might have made. These are the unit tests associated with Windows programs, and as a sub category of that are these frame window type windows. This thing I never got to. This is I wanted to make another notepad cube, but using rich edit instead of edit, but I never got to doing it. Now, most of these things, this doesn't, should have something I can copy from. This doesn't. This does, because I just added this a basic, and this is a basic. So I should make one for these two folders too. Basic window. Maybe that's what this is. One doesn't have any window frame, it's just win name. No, this has an actual window. This is something I use periodically for tests. So anything could be in there. So I don't have such a thing, but it's easy to make one. And here's another category, windows that use the system tray. So I could put another folder in there. One of the things, major problems that I found resolution for is the fact that, these things having different depth levels, right? And still wanting to include common, let's say. And the way I fix that is really kind of stupid and easy. Can I look at this? Let's see. It's not a hard-coded path, but I do it like this, see? Solution dir common age. That way I can't go wrong. What was that from? That was in here. Oh no, that's U-test. It shouldn't have devices in it. It's lucky it did, because actually this one is a copy of that, so I should remove that from here. Try to keep things separate so that way I'll know where to look for examples and things. That's one of the main reasons why you make unit tests is not just to test your code, but also to create a library of samples, right? That you can pick and choose from when you're building something else. It involves many things. You have samples already tested and ready to go. So what have I gotten here so far? String library, windows, WinBase. Now WinBase, this refers to, in the help file, when you look up a function, it has square brackets, base. This is supposed to be a wrapper around those functions. It would be anyway, although a lot of those are still in common. But I could move a lot more into that WinBase. But it wouldn't be much left in common. Although, no, common could still have a lot of stuff that it's nothing particularly to do with Windows. There may be some Windows number defined, but some these type defs have nothing with Windows. A struct, one-way. This is a cute little struct. I haven't used it recently. I don't know if it works. It's a Boolean that can only be, it has an initial value, false or true, and if you set it to the other value, it stays. It sticks to the other value, true or false, the opposite of what it started with. And somehow this function does that. I worked out slowly. Now that's a useful kind of Boolean for one-off initializations, right? You know that once you've set the thing to, if it started as false and you set it to true, then it's not going to become false on you suddenly. No, but that's nothing to do with Windows. This has nothing to do with Windows. This should be colored. This is a struct I just invented recently. It's a variable argument list. Structure. It's quite interesting the way it works. It's upside down, private on the bottom, because it's a struct. But anyway, you declare it and pass in a format specifier, right? And then you can just use it as if it were a VA list object. I have some examples of using it elsewhere. So none of this has to do with Windows, nor this. All this is stuff, basic stuff. It can be in any language or any operating system. Maybe not any compiler, but that's something else. Here's that delegate stuff. There's nothing to do with Windows. I'm going to get rid of this V color. Here are some colors that I find. I used to have a great big list of colors. Did you know that there are special there's a special set of colors called internet colors. I forget where I found a list of them, but I don't know why there's a special set, but apparently those are the colors that you'll see on web pages, and you won't see any other colors besides those. Maybe some mixture, something like that. Maybe that was in the old days when there were palettes. This here is just a floating point map. Now this is a Windows thing. I could move that into. I might as well. Z key down. I don't know why. I thought there was an optimized way to grow something, instead of just doubling every time. Because I saw a code similar to this in MFC, and I thought that was supposed to, and they said that's good because it reduces heap fragmentation. Oh dear. That's true. More sensitive to packing. How much do I gotta put in order to take that? Well, actually, this result here doesn't matter. The pack, it's not something. Well, it could be something you might pass to someone. I don't see the bool is. I assume a bool is a single byte. And if the alignment's typically 4, I would need 2 more bytes perhaps. Now why? I thought I fixed it. Oh, it broke it again. I had this working for, maybe if I remove it and put it back. There's some problem with these files that are sharing this H directory. Thread CW, whoops. Finally, I got that keyboard binding working. I wonder if I'll get the same. I bet that'll fix it. 2 bytes makes that out. This one is 8. That's flawless. 3 4. But that depends on my alignment. You see why it's good to sometimes just do a full build, see if everything's kosher. Now it doesn't matter, right? I put this B reserved here. Oh, alignment was sensitive to packing. I see. The alignment's going to change if I change the packing. That's what the warning says. Now, is that going to be false? Is that now false, or does it become true? If I change the packing to 12, right? If I put the Q word on top, actually, then it's not sensitive. That's what I should do. It's a better solution. I don't need this reserve thing. Now the alignment, unless you're going to set the alignment to 12 bytes. I don't think you can, actually. If it's 16, then it's okay. It all fits under 16. If it were 12, it fits in 12. If it were 8, it follows. It still follows. This follows immediately. In every case, this variable is the next byte following this variable. I think that's what the warning about. The relative position of the members is sensitive to the selection of packing. Oh, I can save that. But I think it's not now. I have 8, I can have 4 and 2. 12 and 16 are all fine. 10's not a choice. to do with packing. Item, text search. Nothing. Oh, wait. Pack all structs on end byte boundary. What are the limitations, though? Z key. Hope I know what to look for. Z key. It should say, if I can find it. I see Z here. It doesn't say. I think it has to be a power of 2, so 12 doesn't count. 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32, and so on. 32 is probably the max. Any warnings yet? No warnings. These things would have included this header file, so it's fine. I might as well pause this, it'll speed it up. Okay, it all built. Only one error here. WC command line was not defined. For this program I haven't built in ages. This is that thing I used for making my hard links. This thing. So in order to debug it, I have to put an int3 right in the program, and that'll bring up the debugger when I right click and drag, put something in. Okay, so that built, everything built. There was no warning about alignment. We get rid of this, and get rid of this, get rid of this, I'm going to want this because we're going to do threading. This I don't need. In common, usually I need to refer to something in there. Alright. That's one of the advantages of breaking it up, is I don't have to build those libs again. If I, like win-based lib and string lib and access control lib, they're okay. They won't need to be built again, and everything will still link fine. Okay, now I want to test, let's say, my math bit. So I might as well add the project in here. My math, real math, which is a device implementation file. Now it actually needs to be built, but only once. It probably depends on common. Let's build it once. Now I can actually dump it after building it, just like the other. but I would like to open up. It's not even in here. Forget the classy wheel. Just do a simple thing. Simpler, less simple, but more basic. That's a go. I want a unit test to test my math. So we'll call this math U test. Real math test. Call it that. Unit test. Devices. Alright. Now, as I said before, I was lucky. This includes devices age, and I do want to include the interface file for real math, which I believe is called that. Yes. And I need the exported header TS device. Does that include that? What does? Do I need anything else? No, maybe not. Okay. Oh, I should clear the register too. Devices. Okay. If I cannot create device, and now we should be able to do something with it. Okay. And resolve. Resolve. Now it should be this easy to use. Although I didn't make this dependent on anything. It should depend on Dev Manager really. But I think it's okay, that's already been built. And it's in the linking path. Okay. Compile. That's good. Now I'm just going to step over this create line. It's going to ask me to look at a DLL if it's working. Oh, wrong project. seems to be working. And here, okay, succeeded. Okay, so now, I swear to God, now, oh yeah, there's another thing. I got the memory leak detection working. Notice how there's a memory leak. That's because I forgot. That. So as you can see, the way that this thing has been designed has allowed me, because I'm very forgetful, to be able to get back to this thing very quickly without having to recall any long series of steps. All I did was include the iReal math header and call create device, and it got me one of those devices. This time, what am I doing here? Printing it out. No memory leak this time. The memory leak, by the way, is not a memory leak in my runtime library, but in the DLL that contains the real math implementation. I added memory leak checks for all of those, and they all have their own version of the runtime, which is not good in general. If I make 10 objects, I don't want 10 runtime libraries. So that's why I'd like to switch to the DLL runtime libraries, right? So I can do everything in here and not have to have that happen. So now that worked perfectly fine. What do we have to do now? Well, let's go and add that implementation project back. See how that works. It's got the classy math and all that too. Make an object that derives from that and implement all the functions, right? And then export this magic function. Well, right away I see a problem because we're not aggregating in this case, right? We want to use this real math, but we want to marshal the calls. It could go in this same project. The marshalling of calls, right? You know how COM objects have something called a threading model. They have like something apartment this, apartment that. If we can find an example. Threading model both. See? Now, I think that means that the multi-threaded and single-threaded versions are contained in the same DLL. So you don't have to have a separate entry in the registry. These are all called local servers. They're in process, and so would the Marshall thing. So I'm thinking Suppose we had another class. This is one type of real math. We could call this the single-threaded math or something, or unmarshaled math, right? But that's not the only thing that this create device function could return. It might take me, could maybe pass in a parameter, an extra parameter, or perhaps create a more general thing that takes one of these objects as a template parameter. Let's say something called a struct marshaller of T, which takes a real math, marshaller of real math, right? And I've obtained a marshaled real math that I'm thinking along these lines. Instead of this line, suppose there was some struct in the world. Template. Or class. Marshal. So it is a T, just like the refs thing is. And I don't know. And that's it. It doesn't have to. There doesn't have to be anything more in this thing, in this declaration. The other word is struct. Struct. Doesn't matter, in fact, because this part was already public. Now I can just write it this way. So if there were such a TS markup, let's say, and I was able to write this down, a pointer to one of these things, and call create device on this, then I'll have to go through the same rigmarole sort of looking for the appropriate function that returns this type of object rather than this type of object. That's not so hard. I'm sure I can extract the function name. And the implementation doesn't have to be visible to the outside world. It just has to be a name, right? This sort of defines a namespace. This could go in here, device H. We have device. This is the smart pointery thing. Maybe this would work. Actually, it'll just come up with a different export name. Suppose there were such a template struct. But how do I? It might work the same way on everything, right? Oh, now I have to think.